Hi, welcome to Dave Outdoors. Today we're going to be foraging for mushrooms. Hopes to find some oysters, maybe some dryad saddle, and maybe a bit too early for chanterelles, but we're going to try. When I say we, I mean me and
Hi.
Michelle. So we're going to head off here. This is we're in a bush, actually just behind my house, just south of North Bay, Ontario. So we're looking, basically we're looking for the oysters. We're looking for dry, dead, standing hardwood trees is generally where they're found. The dryad saddle is pretty much the same idea. So we'll see if we can get lucky in the bush. You think we're gonna get lucky?
You could.
Let's find out. Lots of deer sign anyway. Deer like mushrooms too, so we want to try to get out here before they do. But they frequent the bush more than we do, obviously. A lot of times back here in this particular bush where I find my chanterelles is underneath these ferns, but not this type of fern, more this fern is where we generally find them. But like I say, I think it's going to be a bit too early for that. So we're going to try to focus on the dry, dead stuff. Like trees like this, like stumps like this. Pheasant backs or dryad saddlers are known as well, like to grow on those. These little plants right here are called sponge berries. So the rest of the plant you could eat, but it's not that great. They will develop a red berry on top. Not a lot of taste, but a lot of people use them for fillers and jams and jellies. If they don't get enough blueberries or strawberries, whatnot, then they'll find them there. So looks like we don't have to go very far right away, and we've got some oysters.
Look at that.
See, this tree here is long gone and dead, and actually the oysters go up there quite a ways,
Yeah.
which is pretty nice. So we're gonna stop, pick those. I got a bag, Michelle, if you want to slice them off the tree.
Yeah.
Michelle's an avid mushroomer and wild forager as well. Oh, it looks like we got more up there,
More up there coming.
just out of reach, but well, we'll have to I got an idea for those.
Got a little bug activity
So
on
what I've
there.
got here is a backpack lined with a paper bag that we'll just throw our mushrooms in. That's a
Pretty
nice,
nice.
that's perfect size.
Yeah.
Nice and white. We'll leave those baby ones for another time.
Yeah. This one's been
They're,
eaten a bit, so I didn't want to.
started. Yeah, we can trim that off.
Yeah. I want to take them all.
Yeah, if we don't, the deer will.
That's true.
Or somebody else. There's usually not too many people out behind my house, but you never know who's going to be.
Got these neat little bugs on here too.
Yeah. That looks good. We can let those other ones grow.
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty?
See that?
Yep. Yeah, we'll wash them up. There we go. Isn't that pretty?
Nice.
Nice little cluster. We'll just put those in the bag and continue on, see if we can find some more. More dead trees. That was quick.
Nice find right away.
Yeah, hopefully we can find some more. It's still pretty early, and to be honest, they were not there last week.
It
This
doesn't
is the
take
area
long.
where I normally forage for them. And there's a dead tree there. Another thing too, if you ever want to find chaga, go for a walk with Michelle. Because she is a chaga queen. She's very lucky.
Gotta know where to look. Half dead birch are perfect.
Yeah, mushrooms like dead stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah.
One thing we haven't found this year, and it's probably too late now, is morels. We've kind of checked all over the place and haven't had any luck.
Yeah, I don't think I have them on my property. I've never seen them.
Which after this, we are going to be heading to Michelle's property to look for more.
Yeah. All right, so up on the rock here, we're seeing tons of blueberry plants. They like it where it's warm and rocky. But also along with them, you see this little guy here. That's wintergreen. So use the leaves for tea or jams or make candy, whatever you like.
To me, they taste like toothpaste. Very minty. So we're gonna harvest a few of them.
Yeah.
So we can take back and make tea out of it.
In a few, well, maybe a month or two, they're gonna have little red berries on them too. The berries are kind of dry, but they serve their purpose. So a lot of times when you see blueberries, you'll see these as well.
Now, what we're doing here today, we're identifying foraging stuff that we know positive what they are, but you should always double check what you're picking and foraging. Don't take our word for it. Don't, the saying is don't munch on a hunch. Properly identify before you consume. That's for sure. There's lots of apps out there that can help you, or you've got a Google search that will identify pretty well everything. Very handy.
Yeah.
There's lots of ways to do it. What I always say is if you can learn one or two mushrooms, one or two plants a year, so that you know them 100%, you're doing well.
Yep.
It takes a long. You're not going to learn them all overnight.
It's too much to know.
And it's a lot of benefits to the wild edibles like this here. Okay, here we are. We made it back out. We were out there for about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, and didn't find anything else. Lots of blueberries and the wintergreen. We're going to, in the morning, go over to Michelle's place and see what we can find there. So until then, we'll see you. Okay, here we are. It's the next day. We're over at Michelle's property, which is about 20 minutes south of mine, so we're still in the North Bay area. This forest is a lot older than what we were in yesterday, so it's got a lot more stumps, down logs, and stuff like that. So hopefully our success will be better today. Michelle knows the area pretty good, so she's going to be our guiding light today. So we'll see what happens and how the day progresses. It's raining a bit. It's only 13 degrees today, so it's a bit of a change. So we're bundled up a little better, but we're gonna give it our best and see what happens. So here we are. We're just coming out of a sprucey section before we get into the deciduous part. But this area here, Michelle's saying, has got lots of ghost pipe in the fall, so that's gonna be something we're gonna look forward to. It's a great area, this, and the other one in Michelle is the russet.
Russula.
The russula mushrooms.
They are not edible.
Non-edible. So don't eat russula. So coming out here, you can see it's gonna clear up a bit, and then we're gonna come into a completely different type of forest. Ash, elm, maple, the odd oak tree. And hopefully mushrooms. And that's the thing with foraging, and same as hunting and fishing, is nothing's a guarantee. But Michelle's guaranteeing success today.
Got to keep coming out.
Yep, can't give up. There, much brighter now. And then we got our guard dog here, Maple, just to ward off the bears and whatnot. I'm sure she'll be the first one home, but so look,
She's a good bush dog.
let Michelle take the lead because she knows where the best spots are.
Come on, Maple. Blackberries everywhere.
That's one thing about this area over here. There's lots of different berries, blueberries, blackberries, gooseberries.
So here's where we got the pheasant back the other day.
Okay, so again, I can see the pheasant backs from here. Is they're growing on the dead hardwoods, and they look, as you can see once we get a bit closer. Well, something's been munching on these ones.
Yeah, there's a couple on the...
Here and here, and then you see here. Here's a good picture of the coloration on the back of this. Hence why they call them pheasant backs, because it looks like feathers, I guess. Again, too, it's like AKA dryad saddle, and it looks like we got our tree covered with them here. So we're just gonna take the pack off,
these
get our
are
knives out,
older.
and start cutting some mushrooms.
Mm.
So what we're doing this year, instead of breaking them off, we're going to try cutting them off. See what leaves a little more of the mushroom on the tree for future success. Hopefully again next year they'll come back in the exact same place. There's a couple good ones here. Those would be good for drying out and dehydrating, making powder for teas or just sprinkling in different dishes.
They get pretty tough when they're old.
Yeah, very tough.
There's a big cluster back here too.
There's some good ones there. Size of that one. Now I got pretty big hands, and they can grow quite large. The smaller ones, like everything, the smaller, younger ones are much more tender and flavorful. The big ones tend to get a bit woody after a while, depending on how big they get.
Grab these little guys.
Yeah.
Ooh, you see how much easier those cut?
Yeah, very.
They just broke right apart. So the difference when they're fresh.
Yeah. You see a down tree, I guess. It's got them all over it. We're gonna leave those ones the little smaller ones, let them grow a bit more. Maybe come back in a week or two. It's surprising how fast they grow. It's like almost overnight. All right.
There we go.
So we'll continue on a bit and see what else pops up. See how much difference is this forest compared to what's behind my place. It's a lot older, say more hardwood. Everything's gotten so thick and green, it's harder to see into the bush. Checking all the logs on the ground. See back there, there's some older turkey tail on that log.
Here's some more dryad saddle or pheasant back here and there.
Oh, yeah, so there we go too. See, there's more pheasant
there.
back there. So the pheasant back are pretty plentiful over here. Let's see what else we might find.
The nice thing about the old forest, once you get in, there's no underbrush hardly.
Yep. There's another one there. Actually, I'm gonna pop that one off there. You see there's lots left on the tree, so we got some regrowth. It looks like Michelle stumbled upon
A couple little guys
what we
here.
got here. Oh, we got some oysters. Looks like golden oysters.
But they're pretty tiny. They might be a little past their... Actually, I don't know.
Well,
Maybe they're not oysters.
All right.
Are they oysters though?
Well, take those because those are the goldens. Right. The ones we found yesterday were the pearls.
Yeah.
So over there, just a little stick laying on the ground, and we've got oyster mushrooms. We've had a bit of a rough start to the year with the bad weather being so up and down, and actually quite cold temperatures. Like I say, today's 13 degrees. So it's mushrooms. I say we're not here last week, and then all of a sudden they've popped up again. So we're just gonna keep walking and see what we can find. Okay, we're been out in the bush for another hour and a half or so, and it's been raining the entire time. So we're heading back. We're almost at the end of it. We did find a few more of the pheasant backs. Nothing else really to speak of other than some turkey tail and stuff like that. So we're gonna now, actually it'll just be myself for the next part, is going back to process the pheasants into dry powder. So we'll be back with that as soon as possible. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, so here we are. We're in the kitchen now. I went ahead and washed up all of our pheasant backs, dryad saddle. And now what we're going to do is we're going to save some of the smaller ones for a fry up, because they're great to fry. A little bit of garlic butter, just straight butter. And then the bigger ones we're going to clean up with a knife, and we're going to slice them up thin and put them in the dehydrator to make powder out of. So we'll just get started with that. Just want to clean off just any of the dark edges and stuff like that around, mostly around the perimeter, and just get them ready to dehydrate. The thinner we can make them, the quicker it's gonna dehydrate. Usually takes around 5 hours or so. So we'll get these done and get them ready, and then throw them on the dehydrator. Good thing just to make sure you wash them really well. There were a couple little bugs inside. You can see on the bottom, I'll show you here in a second. The bottom of the dryad is more of it's a sponge. They don't have the gills. It's a spongy bottom. You can see here, and if you can touch it and not indent it too much, or hardly at all, they're good to go. We'll just get those on a tray there. We'll just get these cleaned up. I like to take the harder part, because we're dehydrating even the tougher parts. We can manage with those. These with the dehydration, they're good for just adding flavor, sprinkling flavor to dishes, or making a tea, just stuff like that. It's they're very handy, and they have lots of flavor. So we just go ahead and process these up real quick. Just cut any spots out where the bugs may have chewed it up some. Get rid of those. Not like other mushrooms where the bugs will bore right in. They tend to be a little closer to the surface. Just like to get rid of those and clean it up. So that's pretty tucked there, so we're not going to use that. This one here, where it's closer to the tree, is pretty dark, so get rid of that. Don't cram them up on your trays either. Let your trays have lots of room for the air to circulate. Spread them out good. A couple more of these larger ones. There's a small one attached. And then here you can see why they get that name Featherback, because of the feather-like design on the tops. They're very pretty mushrooms, probably one of the prettiest in our area anyway. Can be for frying. Spread these out thin. Tray on top of the other. Evens out. So those are looking pretty good. More room maybe. Those. Okay. So there we go, and now we will set those on. Put it on top. And we'll come back in about 5 hours. Okay, 7 hours later, a little longer than expected, but I guess that's just how it goes. We are ready to go. They are completely dried out, nice and crispy. So we're going to put them in the processor and grind them into our powder. Use the powder to make tea. Just an additive for any dishes you might have, like a spaghetti or a sauce or any type of whatever. Make onion mushroom soup out of it. Uses are limited by your imagination. So we're just gonna put this on here, lock it down. So it doesn't seem to be getting all of them right there now. Let's just see, maybe now. Try them bit by bit in the smaller processor and see if that makes a world of a difference. I just got this processor, just put that out there, so I'm not sure. Maybe I'm doing something wrong with it. Might be the first time. I guess when in doubt, they are pretty hard, but never seemed to have that issue before. But when in doubt, we have another option. Okay, so we got up the Ninja, and we'll see if this can take care of this we got going on here. Some of the pieces are pretty hard, so that shouldn't stop the Ninja, hopefully. Never had a problem with it before, but we'll see what happens. We'll start out slow. Okay, so that looks like it did the trick that time. So we'll take that off of there. Yeah, that looks good now. Sorry about that, just had another alarm going off or something. And we'll just transfer it into our little jar we've got here. There we are. There we have it. We've got a jar of ground pheasant back for any flavoring or whatever you want to do, or just a straight up tea. So that'll be it for this one. We'll be out again real soon doing more foraging, fishing, do some bushcrafting and stuff like that. So watch for the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification button. Until then, have a great day.